All right, this is today's project, an '05 GMC Envoy, and it had a little fender bender on the passenger side, and it took out the fender, headlight, bumper cover, bumper support, and the inner fender. That's pretty tore up too. So we are going to replace those with this stuff. So we're going to take you through how we did that, and we are going to wrap up how much we spent. So let's get started. The front bumper cover it came off a junkyard car, and so it's got 18 years of nicks and little bits of road rash on it. So we sanded the whole thing down and then went with some filler and just filled in the few little imperfections there were. Wasn't that bad. Things in really good shape. So filled that all in, sanded it down with 220, and now we're gonna clean it up, prep it, and get it ready for primer. The fog lights, I was not able to get those unscrewed. The really fine screws, I didn't want to break anything, so I just taped those off, and we'll just paint around them. So now we're going to wipe it down, prep it, and hang it, and get it ready for some primer. Same story on the front fender. This one was really nice shape. No dings, dents, no scratches. It's unfortunate the color wasn't right. I could almost have put it back on, but sanded the whole thing down so that it's going to be ready for primer. We'll put a coat of sealer on it first. And the back side on it is just really great shape. So everything's sanded, so like the bumper cover, this is ready for a little primer. So we'll prep it, prime it, and then we'll go from there. Headlight was in really nice shape. Just took a little swirl remover and a foam pad and just buffed it just to get that little bit of haze off of it. But it looks like everything's really good there, so that's cleaned up. Over here, hood closeout panel, just needed to clean that. This is the structural bumper reinforcement. I just hit that with a wire wheel. It just had a little surface rust in a few spots, just a little bit faded. So I inside and out cleaned it up, prepped it, and then shot it with a little bit of satin black just to protect it. So that is looking like brand new. And then this is the inner fender, and same thing, it's in perfect shape. Just took it, cleaned it up, put a little armor all on it just to make it look nice, make the job look good. So that is ready to go on. So I tack ragged everything and then shot it with a two-component epoxy sealer. So that is now on both the fender and the bumper cover. So we're going to let that flash for about an hour, and then we're going to coat it with high build primer. And then once that's on, we'll wet sand, get ready to put the color in. Color paint should be in tomorrow. So right now it's looking good. So we're going to let this sit for about an hour. We'll come back, and I think it'll be like a light gray with the high build. So another step done. Now we got our two-part polyester primer surfacer on, so we'll let that sit. I'll let that dry overnight. And then tomorrow we'll get out 400 grit, we'll wet sand everything. Came out really nice. I think we got most of the defects out of the bumper cover, just the little damage that happened over 18 years of street driving. Fender, of course, is just looking great. And as usual, we did both sides. Just gives you a little more corrosion protection on the back side, and it eliminates all that red paint that was on there. So now you ever look at the car, you can never tell that fender was originally a different color. And we just get the back edges on the bumper cover so that they're ready for paint to get the actual color on. So right now we should have a full day of wet sanding tomorrow because we're slow, but we'll get it done. I've got a beautiful sunny day today, so I decided to let the panels sit out in the sun a little bit and bake. Everything dried nice, but just want to make sure everything's ready to go. So that's the fender, and now I am wet sanding on the bumper cover. So I've got just a bucket of soapy water. I've got some 400 and some 600 grit, and I'm just knocking down just little imperfections. But it actually came out pretty good just from the paint, but I like to get it just as flat as I can. So there's how the front of it's looking. So we'll wet sand this whole piece, and then we'll bring the fender in here. We'll do the same day. And then we'll re-prep them, and we've got the paint ready to go. So now I'm finishing up wet sanding on the front fender. And then just like the bumper cover, it came out just fabulous. So I'm going to wipe them down now, prep them, hang them, and we're going to be ready to shoot some color. So we're getting ready to throw some color on it, get the first coat of base going. So we got all the wet sanding done, prepped everything one more time, degreaser, tack rag, blown off with air, ready to go. So we're not going to try to get full coverage. We're just going to try to spray inside like the fog lights and whatnot, all the nooks and crannies, get those good coverage, and then we'll come back with a second coat and hit things a little heavier. So here we go, first coat. Here we go, first coat of base. Let that flash. Of course it's light. I like to do lots of light coats, especially with heavy metallics like this. Fenders just starting to flash. So we'll let that dry. We'll put some more on. So here we are after 2 coats of base, looking pretty close. So I think we're going to fog one more coat on, maybe widen up the fan a little bit. Hit them one more time, and then we'll let it sit, and then we'll go for some clear. There we go, 3 coats of base down, and it's looking pretty good. So now we're going to let this sit, and then we're going to come back and start hitting it with clear. Fender also came out very nice. So about an hour from now, we'll start putting some clear on. Here's our first coat of clear. I like to put that on kind of light, let it melt into the base, and then give the other coats of clear a little something to stick to. So that's on, looking pretty even. Not bad for me. I'm sure Pro does it much better, but good start. So we'll let that sit, and we'll come back, we'll put the second coat on. Alright, we got second coat of clear on. Looks pretty good, no runs, and looks like we got nice gloss, so I'm going to cut right there and call it done. Because I know if I go to put the third coat on, I'm going to get greedy, and the film thickness is going to build up, and I'm going to get a run or a sag, and it's not going to look any better. So I'm going to call this finished. Fender came out nice. So we're going to let these bad boys sit overnight, and then I think we're almost done. So we've pulled the grill out, and we've got the headlights off. One was busted. Grill's pretty simple. It's just clips, 4 clips right up front. Pull those forward, undo the headlight washer and lift them out. And then the headlights are simple. You just lift these two pieces, wiggle the headlight forward, unplug them. So we've got that off. Now we'll start working on the marker lights and the bumper cover. So we got the bumper cover off, got the marker lights out. Now we're going to take the headlight support out, and that piece got trashed. That's this big plastic piece that goes around the grill and attaches the headlights. So let's get a 10mm out and we'll take that off. Got the steel bumper bar off. Got the plastic headlight attachment piece off. So now we're going to work on the fender and the inner fender. And the parts pile is starting to grow. There we go. Got the inner fender out and the outer fender. And the only trick with that is you got a fastener back here, got one right there. You get from this side, and then you got one right down here, and you just pull this out of the way, and it's just push pins on the inner fender. So got to do some work here. The bumper cover attaches to this, so I've got to pull that out, straighten that, and after that we're ready to start putting things back together again. So I think we're right about the halfway point. Again, the scrap pile keeps getting bigger. There we go, got the fender on, and we've got the inner fender in. And we've straightened out this piece, so we should be able to get the bumper cover on. We may have to tug that out just a little bit more, but we'll say we got the good inner fender on. So now I think we will put that big plastic surround piece in. Let's give that a shot. So there's the bumper support in. Now we'll put the bumper cover on. Headlight bracket is in. Everything's lining up nice. We've got the right side fender attachment stuff lined up nice. All the wiring is through, so now we're going to put the bumper cover on. Alright, getting the first fit up on the bumper cover. We got the turn signals in. Fog lights obviously still in. Got it snapped in front.
Almost done with my book.
And it's looking good. I think we got to tweak this side just a little bit. We're close. Real close. But overall that's looking pretty decent. So we're getting down to the end. So we've got to work on the bottom of the air dam. There's a couple push pins need to go in there, but we got the headlights in and everything is wired up and looking pretty good. So we're going to put the grill in, get the washer feature attached, two push pins under the bumper cover. I think we'll be done. And there we go. Got it all done. Grill's in. Water line's hooked up. Lower air dam is reattached. Got the headlights in. And done. So, not too bad. So here's what I paid for the parts. My first round of parts I picked up at U-Pole, which is one of my go-to pick-apart junkyards in Pontiac. If you're in the Metro Detroit area, they're real easy to get to. And to get that front fender, which was just like brand new, I paid $37 including core charge. The inner fender $10, can't beat that. The headlight assembly was $25, and the bumper reinforcement was $22. And of course tax and then some kind of environmental charge. So that was easy. And then the second round of parts, I went up to US Auto Parts in Sterling Heights, again right in Metro Detroit, and got the header panel That was the where the headlights attached, that big plastic piece, surround piece. That was 35 bucks. Bumper cover, the bare bumper cover was 35. Fog lamps, 10 bucks a piece. And the parking lamps was another 5 bucks a piece. Worth grabbing that stuff because, you know, that stuff gets busted up. And again, tax and environmental charge. So between those two, I got, let's see, what is it, $104 and $107. So here's where I got the paint. I bought it online from a place called Color My Auto. They do a lot of touch-up paint work. And I used the paint coat off the car. So I was able to get exactly the color I needed. And the total for a quart of base and clear was $116 and change, $117. So pretty good price for doing a repair job. It was just enough paint. I got some base left over, used most of the clear. But when you consider what clear coat goes for these days, at $116 all in, it's a pretty good price.